Hello, this is pre-recorded session for class number 5. In class number 5, we're going to discuss about function and also string. But don't worry, we already discussed about string, I believe, in the first class. So before we start, let's discuss about last week assignment. Last week we discussed about list, tuple, and dictionary. I believe you already understand about list. List is just like an array, but compared to array in C language, we have to define an array with the same data type. For example, array of integer and also array of character. But in list, in Python, we can just mix with several data type. For example, I can create a list with member from the integer data type and also real data type and also a string. So we can just mix up all of data types inside a specific list. Okay, let's just move on to the assignment. In this assignment, you have to create a cashier program. First, you need to ask input from the user. But before we ask the input, first we need to create the dictionary in here. Okay, just Control C and also under Control V. Okay, we will create the stocks. Remember, in stocks, it's the dictionary type, so we can just call a value inside a key. For example, I can call out a specific key, for example, apple, and then it will return its value as a pair for the specific key, which is in this case is apple. So it will return 100. And this value represent the price. So then ask the input whether the user will going to buy apple, orange, banana, or kiwi. So first is which fruit, input, and then which fruit, apple, orange, banana, or kiwi. Okay, let's say the user want to buy an orange. Okay, so the fruit has a value of orange. Now, if I want to ask what's the price for orange, 1 kilo of orange, then we can use the dictionary stocks orange. Then it will return the price for the orange, which is in this case is 80 per kilos. Now, then ask the input from user how many kilos he or she want to buy. Okay, so kilo integer input, and then how many kilos. Then let's say the customer want to buy 10 kilos. Okay, so the kilo will be 10. Now, using the dictionary, print the total price the customer should pay. So, the customer should pay these kilos, 10 kilos, with the price for 1 kilo, which is 80. So, price will be kilo times stocks orange, like this. So the price will be 800. Okay, but because the assignment said it's supposed to be print out the total price, so I'm going to use something like this. Print, you have to pay with the amount of and then this one. Okay, so you have to pay with the amount of 800. Okay, that's for the assignment from last week. So we use the dictionary for the assignment. Okay, now let's move on to our this week topics, which is function and string. Okay, function. Well, you already understand about what is function in C language from last year algorithm and programming. Function is just a part of a code that, well, usually we use function when the code is repeated. For example, we're going to do that code for several times. In that case, we're going to take out that part of code and then use it as a function. For example, I'm going to create a program to calculate several number. It could be addition, it could be subtraction, and it could be multiplication. But first, the user is going to choose what is the calculation is going to be. Is it addition or subtraction or multiplication? So they're going to choose a menu from a menu, and then based on the value of the menu chosen by the user, then we're going to call a specific function. We use function in this case because we don't know what the user choose. Is it addition or is it subtraction? So because we don't understand or we don't know yet what will the user choose, then we can put it into as a function. Okay. Now, in creating a function, we just use def. We short from define. Def and then the name of the function, and then colon, and then the code that's going to be run by the function. For example, like this. We can just use define and then f, and then let's say I just need to print something. Print, let's say, hello. That's it. We already create a function with the name of f. So if we want to call that function, we just use f and then braces. And then enter, we just print hello. Okay, that's how we call a function. And then usually a function needs an argument or parameter. For example, define f and then a, and then print a. Okay, now let's say I have a equal to 5. Well, it's actually not equal to 5, but a has a value of 5. So f a, I'm going to send the value of a to the function. So the value of 5 is going to be sent to the function. So when I enter this, it will call the function f and then send the value of a, which in this case is 5. So it will print 5. Now, let's say I have B with the value of 10. And then FB means that I'm going to send the value of B, which in this case is 10, to F as a parameter for F. So it will print 10 like this. Okay. And also I can use not the basic data type, but I'm going to use list in this case. Let's say 8, 4, and then A. Now I can just use F, A. Then it will send the list as a parameter to function F. So it will print the list, which is 8, 4, and A. Okay. Now that's how we send an argument or parameter. Now, let's say I'm going to use a function with several arguments. Let's say I'm going to define function f with a and b. Okay, then let's say I'm going to print a plus b. Now, let's call it f and then 5 and 10. Then it will print 15. That means I'm going to send the value of 5 to variable A. I'm going to send the value of 10 to variable B. And then inside the function, it will print the addition of whatever the first value comes from the parameter, and then add it with whatever the value of the second parameter, which in this case is 10. So 5 plus 10 is 15. Okay, so how about if I don't remember the sequence of the argument? Let's say I'm going to use this define f, and then a, b, and then print a power of b, something like this. Now f 2, 4. It will return 2 power of 4, which is 16. However, if I put something like this, 4 and 2, yes, it will return the same. But if I put something like this, f 2 and 3, it will return 8. But if I change the sequence, 3 and then 2, then it will return 9, because 3 will be sent as A and 2 will be sent as B. And then the calculation is A power of B. So that means 3 power of 2. 3 power of 2 is 9. And 2 power of 3 is 8. Okay. Now, how about if I don't remember the sequence? Because in this case, the sequence of the parameter which come first is very crucial, because 2 power of 3 is not the same with 3 power of 2. So I can just use something like this, f, and then b equal to 3, and then a equal to 2. So that means even though the first value is 3, but 3 will be assigned for variable b. So 3 will be sent to this value, and 2 will be sent as a. So it will return 8. Okay, that's when we don't remember the sequence of the parameter, which parameter comes first. So we can use an assignment like this. Okay. Now, next is the argument. We're going to skip this one. And then keyword argument. We already use that keyword argument. And then argument and default parameter. Okay. So let's say I'm going to put a default value for a specific parameter. So whenever the user does not send anything for that specific parameter, it's going to take the default value. For example, like this. I define a function, which is in this case my function, and then the parameter is country, and its default value is Indonesia. And then it will print I am from the country. So if I send Sweden as a parameter, then country will become Sweden. So it will print I am from Sweden. But if I don't send anything, like for example the third one, my function and then blank, then the function will take the value for the country with its default value, which is in this case is Indonesia. So it will print I am from Indonesia. Okay, that's default parameter value. And then passing the argument, we already done that. And then return value. Okay. Now, most of the time, we need the function to return something for the color. For example, I'm going to define a function A and B, and then operator. Then if operator is equal to addition, then please return A plus B. Okay. Else if operator equal to minus, then please return A minus B. Okay. And then else print operator unknown. Okay. Now we already create a function with the nested if. Now let's say I'm going to send the parameter for 5 and then 10 and then minus. Okay. It will print minus 5. And then let's say I'm going to take something like this. C is equal F. Not equal, sorry. C is going to have a value from the function with parameter 5, 10, and then subtraction. Okay, and then C, we're going to have a value for minus 5, which is 5 minus 10. How about C will have the value from function F, 5, 10, addition. Okay, and then C will become 15. Okay, now that's for the return values. Now the customer is going to skip down and then facilitation also. Okay, and then string manipulation. Okay, in string manipulation, we already understand about string from our first class, second class, and then third class. We use a function called input. The input will return a string. Now, there are several methods and also functions that we're going to elaborate for this fifth class. So, first is the string manipulation. How to create a string? That's simple. We just use like sample sentence is it is a beautiful day since we are learning function. Okay, now that's how we create a string, and then counting the length is easy. Just use length and then the string. It says 53, so we have 53 character inside the sentence. Now finding a character and also counting character. I'm going to how many spaces inside this sentence? Well, remember about our first week assignment. We use the second week assignment. We use the for loop just to check the how many spaces inside the sentence. But actually, in string, we have a specific methods just to do such thing. Okay, just use sentence and then dot. Remember, we're going to use method. So we're going to use dot in here. Sentence dot and then count. And then space, because we're going to count how many spaces inside this sentence. It says 9. Is it true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's correct. We have 9 spaces. So we can also use count, not just to count how many characters, but also a substring. For example, let's say I'm going to how many substring A and also R inside the sentence. It says 2 because okay, we have one here and then we also have another one in here. Okay, now that's counting. How about finding? Well, in find this is counting length. This is the finding. We just use this method sentence and then find. Let's say I'm going to find, is there any substring with day, for example. Then it will return 18. How come it become 18? So let's try it out. This is our sentence. And this is the first character, second, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And remember, it starts with 0 because this is actually an array of character. So it starts with 0. So day is found at this place as this index. So 10 and then 18. So it will return 18 as the index of day. Okay. Now that's found, and then count. We use the count and then slicing. Just like in list, we can also slice a specific substring inside the sentence. For example, sentence and then not using method, but we can just use 18 and then 21. Stay. Because the number 18, index 18 is D, and then 19 is A, 20 is Y. So 18, 19, and 20, only 3 characters, D, A, Y, day. Okay, that's for the slicing. And also splitting. We can use splitting to split a sentence for a specific character or string. For example, sentence split, I'm going to use space in this case. So it will return a list with the member of it, and then is, and then a, and then beautiful, and then they, and then since, and then we, and then are, and then learning, and also function. So we're going to separate from one sentence into words, because the splitting based on the space. Then we can also use the string truth value. For example, I want to check whether an input from user is a digit or not. For example, let's say A is input. Please input a number. And then let's say 5. Okay. A dot is digit. Oh, sorry. A dot is digit. It says true. Yes, it's true. It's a digit. So we can use A. It has a value from integer A. So then we can safely use casting integer. However, if I use something like this, the user use A in this case. And then if I going to use the casting integer, A equal has a value of integer A. Then it will return error because A is a character, not a number. So that's why before we use the casting function, we can check first whether the input from the user is actually a digit or not. So we can check A dot is digit. If this one return true, then we can safely use the casting integer. But if not, so like in this case, false, then don't do the casting integer. So for example, like this, if A dot is digit, then A, we can safely use the casting integer. Okay, now A is C. A is C, for example. And then we can safely use something like this without an error. Okay, but A is still C. However, if I put A is 50, for example, and then I'm going to use this, then it will return no error, and A is 50, number 50. Okay. Now, repeating string is very easy. We just use, let's say A is hello. And then A plus A is hello, hello. A times 2 is also hello, hello. A times 3, hello, hello, hello. A times 5, hello, 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 hello. Okay. And then replacing string, well, you can try it by yourself and then change it to upper and lower. So we have so many methods and also function just to manipulate string. We can use the upper to create an uppercase version of the sentence. We can use a title, which means the first word for every word, the first character for every word is going to be capitalized. Okay, and then string join and reversing, where you can try it by yourself. And then string strip is just deleting a specific substring. And then concatenation, we just going to concat or merge two strings or more, two or more strings to become one string. Okay. Okay, I think that's it for today. If you have any question, then you can just ask using the WhatsApp group. Okay, thank you and goodbye for now.